Okay, good morning everybody. So today we are going to start with the next biasing circuit, that is potential divider bias circuit. So let me draw that circuit first and then we will go ahead. So last time we have seen two, is base bias and other two base bias. So today is the next third and the last circuit, that is potential divider bias circuit. So let me draw the diagram. So here we have VCC, here we have our ground, and here we have RC, RE, R1 and R2. So here I am going to just show a small point, that is VB. Yes, Fardeen, do you want to speak something? You are not on mute. So this is base, collector and emitter. Here you have plus minus VCE. Here you have plus minus VBE. And here we have VB. So just start drawing this circuit. Now this circuit we can slightly redraw like this. I'll just separate this VCC out. So VCC is connected to R1 as well as RC. So what I'm going to do is something like this here. So here we have R1, then we have R2, and here we can just slightly draw this. Then we have our BJT. So this is my again ground. This is RE, and at the top again I have a RC. So you can see that both these points are connected to VCC. That is this point and this point, both are connected to VCC. So I am just showing it a little bit differently. They are one and the same thing. So again this point is VB, and the collector current flows like this, IC. So what is going to flow here is IC, and IB will flow this way, and what will flow through RE is IB. So something similar here too. This is IB, here we have IB, and the other terms will be the same. That is, here we have base, collector and emitter. So just this circuit can be drawn in this way. Now what we can do is, since we have separated this VCC, we can replace this circuit by a Thevenin's equivalent circuit. So we can replace this by a Thevenin's equivalent circuit. So Thevenin's equivalent circuit would be that you make this VCC grounded, so you will get RT, and whatever is the voltage at this point, that will be VT. So here let me show you that. So the Thevenin's equivalent circuit for this would be, so the output side remains as it is. So RE and RC would remain the same. So here we would replace this by a Thevenin's equivalent circuit. So Thevenin's equivalent circuit means a resistance in series with the voltage source. So this is my RC, this is VCC, this is RE, and this circuit is my Thevenin's equivalent circuit. So here the Thevenin's equivalent circuit, I will say the value is RT, and here I will say this value is VT. Now the question is, what is the value of RT and VT? So to calculate the value of RT, what we do is we connect VCC to ground, and then you can see R1 and R2 will both be in parallel. So RT is R1 parallel to R2. This is my first formula. So this is RT value we got, and VT is simply going to be the voltage at this point, which is going to be R2 upon R1 plus R2 into VCC, that is by using simple voltage divider. So now here what flows is again IB, what flows here is IE, and what flows through this is IC. This is again plus minus VCE, and this is plus minus VB. So once you draw these three circuits, just write done in the chat box, and then we will see the further analysis of this circuit. So like I said to you that this circuit is called as Thevenin's equivalent. So now once we have the circuit in this way, we are free to apply KVL on input side, and then we will apply KVL on the output side. So first will be applying KVL on input side. Applying KVL on input side. Input side means in which circuit? In the third circuit. So we will apply all KVL and KCL in this circuit. So if you apply a KVL like this, so what you can see here is, you can start with the voltage source. VT minus IB into RT minus VBE minus IERE equal to 0. So we can write that. And IE, we can have a standard formula directly, that is VT minus IBRT minus VBE minus 1 plus beta IB RE equal to 0. Now you can take all IB terms on one side and other terms on the other side. So let me go a little bit down. So from this I can write IB into RT plus 1 plus beta times of IBRE equal to VT minus VBE. So I can take IB common here and I can write RT plus 1 plus beta times of RE equal to VT minus VBE. So we can write here directly IB is equal to VT minus VBE, this entire thing upon RT plus 1 plus beta times of RE. So this is the equation for IB. So once we have the equation for IB, now we can write simply, but here you need to define two things, what is VT and RT. So here we can write, so VT is equal to R2 upon R1 plus R2 into VCC, and RT equal to R1 parallel with R2. Now we can write IC is equal to IB, whatever that IB is. IC is equal to beta times of IB. So we got our ICQ. Now we will apply KVL on the input side. So here we go, KVL on input side, sorry, output side, not input side. Input side just now we applied here. Now output side means, you can see here on the output side we have VCC, then we have RC and IC is flowing through it, then we have a voltage drop VCE, then we have IE into RE. So you can write here VCC minus ICRC minus VCE minus IE RE. So I'm going to write that now. It is VCC minus ICRC minus VCE minus IERE equal to 0. So from this I can write VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRC minus IERE. So IE is nothing but IC plus IB, so I'm going to rewrite that. IC RC minus IC plus IB into RE, and then all IC terms I will take it together. So I'll write VCC minus IC into RC plus RE minus, we have IBRE. So here we have VCE. And then finally we can write Q point is nothing but VCEQ, comma ICQ. So this is one of the most widely used circuits, that is basically your potential divider bias circuit. Now we will see why through some examples. So just copy this. Let's write this here. Vt is equal to R2 upon R1 plus R2 into VCC. Just saving some space. And RT is R1 parallel with R2. So once you are done with this, just write done in the chat box. Any doubts, please ask. So this IE is IC plus IB. So generally this calculation is followed by calculation of stability. So now we will calculate the stability factor. So I'll write here calculation of stability factor. Factor so now we can write here, we know that, so we can start with the equation of IB. What we know, just now we wrote IB is equal to VT minus VBE, this entire thing upon RT into 1 plus beta times of RE. So we can write this in a slightly different way. VTE minus VBE is equal to IBRT plus 1 plus beta times of RE, and then here we can write into IB. So we can take the IB terms together now. It is VT minus VBE. Just open this, RT plus RE into IB plus beta IB into RE. So here we can write IB into RT plus RE is equal to VT minus VBE minus beta IB RE. So beta IB is IC actually. So what we can do here is that IB, we'll just write it in this form, VT minus VBE upon RT plus RE minus beta AB is IC I, this entire thing upon again RT plus R. So this is the equation which I have written for my convenience, so that I can take a derivative of this with respect to IC and then comment on the value of the stability. So here now, once we get this, we will write differentiating with respect to IC, and the first term is a constant, so automatically that becomes, so delta AB upon delta IC is equal to the derivative of the second term is going to be simply minus RE upon RT plus RE. And we all know that we have already done this last time, that is S is equal to 1 plus beta upon 1 minus beta into delta AB by delta IC. So this equation would come inside this. So I'll just call this as 1, and this is basically my equation number 2. So when you put 1 into, I'll write here putting 1 into, we get S is equal to 1 plus beta upon 1 minus, minus and minus will become plus, so I'll write here 1 plus beta RE RT plus RE. So that's what we can write. And now what I'll do is just expansions, nothing else. So this I can write it as 1 plus beta into RT plus RE, this entire thing upon RT plus RE into 1 plus beta times of RE. Okay, so now we'll just expand this a bit. So here you will get RT plus RE plus beta RT plus beta RE, this entire thing upon RT plus RE plus beta. Now we will just restructure this for our own sake. So S will be equal to RT plus RE plus beta RE, this entire thing plus beta times of RT upon RT plus RE plus beta RE. So if you multiply and divide by RT plus RE plus beta RE, what you should get here is 1 plus beta RT upon RT plus RE plus beta RE. So this is equal to 1 plus beta RT upon RT plus 1 plus beta RT. So if I divide by RT now, what I'm going to get here is 1 plus beta upon 1 plus 1 plus beta times of Re upon RT. So this is what I'm going to get. Now we can neglect this 1 in front of this term because this is 1 plus beta is a very high value. So we can write S again as 1 plus beta upon 1 plus beta into Re upon R. So we can slightly write that. Here we can just not return it properly. This is equal to 1 plus this. So let me correct it here also. This is S is equal to 1 plus all this. Now if you look at this thing, here beta is almost equal to 1 plus beta, or beta upon 1 plus beta is almost equal to 1 only, because that value is alpha and alpha is almost equal to 1. So here we can write 1 plus beta upon beta times of Re upon RT, and this beta can cancel out, and this S is almost equal to 1 plus RT upon Re. This is almost equal to 1 plus RT upon Re. So it is the ratio of RT upon Re that controls the stability of the circuit. Why this is true? Because let's say if beta is 300, then this is 300 plus 1. So we say that 300 and 301 are almost equal. So that's why we say that we can cancel them off, considering them as 1, and we get this. So this is the formula for stability. So once you are done with this, just write done in the chat box. Then we will do a sum. So this derivation is asked in the exam many times for 10 marks, and you should be able to do this. I think if you practice once, you will definitely get it. There is no rocket science in it. Any doubts, please ask. If you want me to go to some part which is not understood. So can somebody give me a time check whether my screen and my voice is audible?
Sir, you are audible and The screen is visible.
So let's do a problem on this, which we can expect in the exam too. So I'm going back to my circuit, and in that I'm putting some values. So let's say if R1 is 33 kilo ohms, R2 is 12 kilo ohms, RC is 1.2 kilo ohms, RE is 1 kilo, and VBE is zero point 0.7 as usual, and we start with beta equal to 100. So let's calculate this thing. And VCC, I think in all other problems it is 18 volts, so here also we will take 18 volts. So our problem here is to calculate IC, IB and VCE, and hence the Q point, So before we start our analysis, we should calculate VT and RT. So let me do that. So I'm writing here solution to problem. So as you know that Vt is going to be R2 upon R1 plus R2 into VCC. So that is going to be 12K upon 12K plus 33K into 18. So can somebody tell me what is the value of Vt? So from where did I get this formula here? This is the formula for RT and this is the formula for Vt. Okay, so tell me the value of Vt, that is 12 upon 45 into 18. Similarly, RT is 12K parallel to 33K. So RT will be equal to what? Yes, what is the value of Vt? Post your answers in the chat box. So I think it is Vt is going to be 4.8 volts. Just check it. And 12K parallel to 33, that is 12 into 33 upon 12 plus 33. So that should give me, let me calculate it. So I'm getting this as 8.8 kilos. Now our standard formulas, when we apply KVL to the input side, my formula is this. So I will write IB is equal to Vt is 4.8 minus VBE is 0.7. This entire thing upon RT is again 8.8 kilo ohms minus 1 plus beta is 100 and RE is, if I'm not wrong, it's 1K, 1 into 10 raised to 3. So what is the value of IB? Whatever it is, we will write it. Then we have IC is beta times of IB. So again we'll get some value here, we'll get some value here. And then we have VCE is equal to, that is VCC minus ICRC, that is 18. Yes, what is the value of IB? Calculate it quickly. Everybody must have a calculator. So that is VCE is going to be 18 minus whatever is the value of IC into RC is 1.2 K plus RE is 1K into 10 raised to 3 minus whatever is the value of IB into 1 into 10 raised to 3. So substitute the values of IB, IC and VCE in the correct positions and get the answer. So my first question is, what is the value of IB? So the value of IB according to my calculation is 37.3 microamperes and IC is 3.73 microamperes. And here definitely we'll put the value of IC, not micro, milli. When you multiply by 100, 3.73 into 10 raised to 3. Here we have 10 raised to minus 6. So VCE is equal to 9.756 volts. So just now we calculated for, so first is IB, then we have IC, and then we have VCE. So we calculated for beta equal to 100. You will calculate for beta equal to 200 and beta equal to 50. So I am just putting down the answers here. Here this was 37.3 micro, 3.73 milliamperes, and VCE is 9.756 volts. So please calculate and tell me the values for beta equal to 50 and beta equal to 200. Come on, I'll give you 5 minutes to calculate this. Calculate and let me know the answers. So rather I'll give you verify this. 68.5 microamperes, and here IC comes out to be 3.42 milliamperes and VCE comes out to be 10.62, and here beta equal to 200, we get IB is 19.5 microamperes. This comes out to be 3.9 milliamperes, and here we get something like 9.42 volts. So if you look at the values, you can definitely say that the values are very close for IC and VCE. That means the Q point does not change even if there is a change in the value of beta. So which means that potential divider bias is highly temperature stable device. Answer. It is highly temperature stable. So the least variation in Q point. So we studied three circuits, that is base bias, collector to base bias, and potential divider bias. So through all these three circuits, we saw that the least variation in the Q point is in the potential divider bias, and hence in all our further calculations we will be using potential divider bias circuit only, simply because from the calculations our conclusion is that it is the most stable circuit. So now in our further analysis we will always be using potential divider bias. Yes, Ashish Wagmare, any doubt? We're trying to say something.
No, sir.
I could not hear you, Ashish.
No, sir. No doubt.
Probably your microphone is not working. Okay, okay, fine. So please copy this, and once you have copied these results, we will go to our next part, that is BJT amplifiers using H parameter model. So we will do some kind of modeling and use that model in the AC analysis to determine the equations for gain. So once you are done with this, write done in the chat box. Okay, Vinayak, still I'll give you 2 minutes to note down these things. So this is your original circuit. So till now what we have been seeing is uh, the influence of only DC signals on our circuit. So now let's look at some AC analysis. So before we go to AC analysis, we need to do AC models, and one of the most famous models is H parameter model. So let us go to that H parameter model. So please draw this circuit with me. So you can say that in any two-port network, so we have a two-port network. So any two-port network would have some input voltage, input current, output voltage and output current. So I can show it this way. Input current I'll say I1, input current I'll say here I2, and here we will have V1 and here we will have V2. So what are these V1 and V2? So as far as H parameter model is concerned, we are looking at V1 and I2. So V1 and I2 are dependent parameters and V2 and I1. So V1 and I2 depend on whom? They depend on V2 and I1. So that is why V2 and I1 we will call them as independent parameters. And the H parameter, so we have got the impedance model that is based on Y matrix, then we have H matrix, then you have ABCD matrix and so on, so many. So we are looking at here the H parameter. So we can write a system of linear equations using the above model as, you can write like this: V1 is equal to, just wait, I will write here I1 plus, so V1 depends on V2 and I1, and I2 also depends on V2 and I1, also depends on V2 and I1. But what are these parameters then? So here I write H11, here I write H12, here I write H21, and here I write H22. So basically we can write this way also, that is V1 I2 is equal to H11, H12, H21, H22 into two matrices, that is I1 and I2. Now the question is, what is this H11, H12, H21? So they are called as hybrid parameters, and they are called as hybrid parameters because all of them have got different units. So H11, H12, H21 and H22. So I write here that H11, H12, H21 and H22 are called hybrid parameters. And why are they called hybrid parameters? Because they all have different dimensions, or we can say different units. That means one will be voltage gain, one will be current gain, one will be impedance, one will be admittance, and so on. So that is the meaning of that. And we want to calculate voltage gain, current gain, input impedance and output impedance. That is why we are looking at this parameter. We are not looking at any other model of the two-port network. So something like this. Now we will write case 1. Based on the above equations, we can write case 1. If V2 is equal to 0, so we have two independent parameters, I1 and V2. So let us first say, what if V2 becomes 0? So if V2 becomes 0, then V1 will be H11 I1, which implies that H11 will be equal to V1 upon I1, and V1 upon I1, that is when V2 equal to 0, so voltage upon current would be impedance, and the unit will be ohms. So H11 represents impedance, and we say H11 is nothing but input impedance. Why input? Because it is V1 upon I1, and both V1 and I1 are on the input side. Basic two-port networks. Similarly, we have I2, which will be H21 into I1 when V2 is 0, and this becomes H21 will be equal to I2 upon I1, that is when V2 is equal to 0. So this is a ratio of currents, and it is output current upon input current. So we say this is forward current gain. We say this is forward current gain. So H21 becomes forward current gain. So when we made V2 equal to 0, that time we got two conditions, that is H11, we could say that H11 is input impedance, and H21 was forward current gain. So can we get something similar when case 2, when I1 is equal to now 0? So case 2, if input port, that is what if I1 equal to 0. So V2 equal to 0 also means output port is shorted, and I1 equal to 0 means input port is open circuit. So let's try to introspect now what happens. So once you do this, V1 will be equal to H12 V2, which implies H12 is equal to V1 upon V2, that is when I1 equal to 0. So this is nothing but reverse, it's a voltage gain, but it is not output upon input, it is input upon output. So we call it as reverse voltage gain. So H12 will be reverse voltage gain. And similarly here, I2 will be equal to H22 V2, and which will give me H22 is I2 upon V2. So here we have again I1 equal to 0. So this is current upon voltage. So we will say it is admittance, and it is on the output side. So we will say output admittance, and the unit will be mhos. So H22 is equal to, I will say, output admittance. So here we get these things: reverse voltage gain and output admittance. So we have now all the four parameters defined. So based on these equations, we can draw a small circuit now. So here we have, so first I will draw V1, and because of V1 what flows is I1, and I1 actually flows through H11, and this value will be H12 V2, and on the output side we have H21 I1. Then here we have, this is my admittance, that is 1 by H22 will give me resistance, and finally here I have got V2, and V2 gives me a current of I2. So if you just carefully see here, the first equation is V1 is equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2. So if you apply a KVL, so if you apply KVL on input side, we get this circuit. So from the equation we generated this circuit, and when we applied KCL on output side, we got this circuit, that is I2 is equal to H21 I1 plus we had H22 V2. So we wrote it this. So now what if this two port network is a BJT? What if this two port network is a BJT? That means, let me just draw this box again, black box. What if I have a BJT inside? What if this box is now a BJT? That is common emitter configuration. So here we have base, collector and emitter. So here we have VBE and here we have IB and here we have IC and here we have VCE. So now you can see here that your VBE is actually V1 and IB is I1 and IC is actually I2 and VCE is V2. So if you replace V1, I1 and all this in this above circuit, what you should be able to get is what I am drawing right now. So we will draw it here. So this is actually HI, this is input impedance. This is going to be HO, 1 by HO, that is output impedance, and H12 is going to be reverse current gain and H21 is going to be forward current gain. But in the common, this is common emitter configuration, so that is why everywhere I will write HIE, HRE, HFE and HOE. So this circuit at the top, I will now write it this way. So mostly the reverse voltage gain in a BJT is negligible and hence we can consider HRE as 0, and that is why what we get here is now something like this. This is V1, this is I1 and this is HIE, this is going to be IB and on the other side we have a current source whose value will be HFE into I1, but I1 is IB, and here we have 1 upon HOE. This is V2 and this is I1. So even HOE is a very high value output impedance, and that is the reason why you can show this by an open circuit. So even this tends to infinity, and that is why basically what we get is, this is my base, this is my collector and this is my emitter. So the AC model of the BJT becomes like this. This is HIE, HFE into IB. Where is IB? IB is flowing through this. So this is going to be the model of the BJT. So BJT is in a black box. So please draw this. So this is base, emitter, and here this is your collector. And once we get this AC model, what are we actually going to get? We are going to get voltage gain, we are going to get current gain, we are going to get input impedance, and we are going to get output impedance. So please draw this, and we'll have a break of 5 minutes and we'll come back exactly at 9:12 a.m. Okay, so let us start with the further analysis. That is AC analysis of C amplifier. So to do AC analysis of CE amplifier, first we will draw a full-fledged CE amplifier. So start drawing this circuit. So here we have our VCC, this is RC, RE, R1, R2, and this is your input DC blocking capacitor, and you will give your input, some input will be given here. I will call this as Vin, and we will take the output here, that is C0. It is C0. Now it is important to note that C0 is a output DC blocking capacitor, and CE is called as a bypass capacitor. So let us just name that plus minus VBE plus minus VCE, and just show the currents. That is, here we will have IB, here we have IC, and what will flow through this is I. Now CE is called as bypass capacitor. So what does it bypass? It bypasses DC level to ground. Or rather, it blocks the DC level. I should not write DC. Blocks the DC level. And by blocking the DC level, it provides some kind of feedback again back at the emitter. Blocks the DC level, and what it bypasses is AC level in the signal. And by doing this, my Q point remains stable. My Q point remains stable. So CE is a bypass capacitor. What does it bypass? AC level in the signal to ground, and it blocks the DC level. So the DC bias of the circuit does not get affected because of that. This is my Vin. Now, when, like I said, it's AC analysis. So AC analysis means the circuit is under the influence of only AC signals. And you can see AC means a time varying signal. So the only time varying signal in the circuit is Vin. All others are DC signal. I mean VCC is a DC signal. So three important steps in AC analysis. So the first step is make all DC voltages zero. Make all DC voltages zero means connect to ground. Connect to ground. Second is replace all capacitors by short circuits. Now why to do this? Because capacitor blocks the DC signal, so it acts like an open circuit for a DC signal and it allows the AC component to pass through it. So that is why it acts like a short circuit for AC signals. And since we are doing AC analysis, we will replace all capacitors by short circuits. And third, replace BJT by its AC model. Replace BJT by its AC model. So we are going to use H parameter model in our design. So we will use the H parameter model to explain the AC analysis. So let us start from Vin. Now I am drawing AC equivalent circuit. So I start with Vin. Then capacitance is shorted. So I show it by a short circuit. VCC is grounded. That means what? R1 is now parallel to R2. R1 is parallel to R2, and here we reach the base of the transistor. So now I will draw here the AC model of the BJT. So here I will write HIE. Now let me write one extra step here. Then this is my collector. So this is base, emitter, and this is my collector. So now VCC I am going to connect to ground. So between collector and ground I have got this RC. So between collector and ground I will write here RC. And again C0 is shorted, and here we have V0. On the emitter side we have not yet dealt with RE and CE. So here I will write RE is connected between emitter and ground, but CE is short circuit. CE is shorted. So actually what happens here is, this is CI shorted, this is C0 shorted, and this is CE shorted. So this circuit is, so this emitter is as good as connected to ground. So even if you don't show this RE, it is going to be fine. So please draw this circuit immediately. And this circuit further I can draw it this way. I can remove this, all of this, and simply show my emitter connected to ground. Simply show the emitter connected to ground. So these two circuits are the resistance seen by the source is called as Ri, and the resistance seen from the output side is called as R0. So our objective is to calculate AV, AI, that is voltage gain, current gain, input impedance and output impedance. That is the objective. So these three steps are important. Make all DC voltages zero, that is connect to ground. Replace all capacitors by short circuit and replace BJT by its AC mod. So in this circuit, this much part this is actually AC model of BJT, and here what flows inside is IB, and the value of this current source is HFE times of IB, so which I can show here also, IB, and this is HFE times of IB. Please draw this. Once you are done with this, just write done in the chat box. Then we will see calculation of AV, AI, RI and R0. Yes, so can somebody just confirm whether my screen is visible or not? Anmol is not able to see the screen. Vinay,
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Sir, visible आहे.
okay, Anmol, I think there is a network problem at your end. So just try to refresh once. Okay. Now, next part. So now we will concentrate only on this second circuit. So first let us write calculation of Ri. So Ri is pretty simple. We have got just R1 parallel to R2 parallel to HIE. So Ri is nothing but R1 parallel to R2 parallel to HIE. It's very straightforward. Next we have calculation of R0. So to calculate R0, we will make Vin equal to 0. The moment we make Vin equal to 0, IB becomes 0. If IB becomes 0, HFE into IB also becomes 0. So this current source implies current source is behaving like open circuit, and that is why your RO simply becomes RC, and this current source is now open circuit. So RC is in parallel with open circuit, so R0 will be just equal to RC. R0 will be simply equal to RC. Okay, next is again very simple. Calculation of voltage gain. So it is AV, by definition it is V0 by V in, and V0 is current flowing through RC, that is the voltage at this point, but this current is flowing like this, so that is why the voltage drop would be negative. So V0 is going to be minus HFE into IB into RC, and V in is the voltage drop across HIE. So V in we can write simply as HIE into IB. So very easily we should be able to write V0 is equal to minus HFE IBRC upon HIE into IB. So this IB cancels out, and what you get here is AV is minus HFE upon HIE into RC. So HFE is basically the value of beta, which is current gain, and HIE is the input impedance. So HFE and HIE are given in data sheets. They are given always in the data sheet. Data sheet means if in the exam they tell you to design this, then they will give you the value of HFE and HIE. Next is calculation of current gain. That is AI. just writing it a little bit properly. So again, AI standard definition is I naught upon input current, and this we can write it as I naught upon IB into IB upon II. So just multiplying and dividing by IB, nothing else. Now we can see I naught is simply minus of IC, that is the collector current, and IC upon IB is beta, which is basically HFE. So you can see from here that we can, if this is my equation 1, this is equation 2, so we can write, instead of I naught, I can write AI as minus IC upon IB into IB upon II, and this IC upon IB we can write it as HFE. Now the question is the second term. So we have identified this thing. Let's call this as 3, and let's call this as 4. Now we want to see what is IB upon II. So by current divider, so you should observe this. The current flowing through this, the current flowing here will be the resistance in the other branch upon HIE plus R1 parallel to R2 into whatever is the input current. So this is II. II splits into two, I and IB. Now I want to find out what is II. So we are using a current divider rule. So we can say here IB, that is the current flowing through HIE, is going to be R1 parallel to R2, the resistance of the other branch, upon R1 parallel to R2 plus HIE into II. Therefore, IB upon II is R1 parallel to R2 upon R1 parallel to R2 plus HIE. So this is equation number 5. So you can put 5 and 3 in 4. So we will get AI is equal to minus HFE into IB upon II is this, that is R1 parallel to R2 upon R1 parallel to R2 plus HIE into, so that will be AI is simply minus HFE R1 parallel to R2 upon R1 parallel to R2 plus HIE. See, so we calculated current gain, we calculated voltage gain, RI and R0. please copy this. Once you are done with this, write done in the chat box. Okay. Now, what if in this same circuit, so you have to redraw this. I will put a small RL here, that is a load resistance. So here also I will have to put one small RL. In the next circuit also we will have to put a RL. And now my output impedance as seen from this side will be R0. So I did nothing on the input side. So calculation of Ri remains the same. Voltage, the RO calculation is going to change. So instead of here open circuit, now we have RC parallel with RL, and here instead of R0 we will have RC parallel RL. So here also instead of V0 we will have RC parallel with RL, and here also so actually if you connect a load resistance, the gain is going to decrease. Because in a parallel combination, the net resistance is lower than the least resistance. And if there are, let's say RC is 10 and RL is 10, then 10 parallel with 10 will be 5. But if only RC exists, then it will be just 10 kilo ohms. So you will be able to derive a higher gain if you have only RC but no RL. But in all practical situations, we will always be connecting this to output stage, and it will offer some kind of load resistance, and that is the reason why we cannot completely skip this in our calculations. So that RC parallel with RL is very much essential. So please copy this. Please copy the circuit with RL and the AC equivalent of the circuit. So please copy this with RL. Okay. So AC analysis first we did without RL, now with RL. Now the next question is, what if we don't connect this CE? What happens to the voltage gain if we don't connect the CE? So we are doing AC analysis without bypass capacitor. So I'll take some liberty of this over here. So now what happens is that your RE doesn't get bypassed. RE doesn't get bypassed. So what we get here is IE. What we get here is IE. So in this case, if I want to ensure, if I want that the current flowing through this is IE. Now if I want that the current flowing through this should be IB, if I want that, then you must understand that IC is a bigger current as compared to IB. That means RE is a small resistance as compared to HIE. So if I want that IE, RE, the current flowing through RE should be IB, then RE should increase by 1 plus beta times. RE into 1 plus beta. Or I will write RE should increase 1 plus HFE times. Then only we can say IB and IB, same current flows through both HIE and the new value of RE, and then we can consider them in series, and then we can write something about RI. So anyways, I'll just explain it from the start. Here you can see that RE is not bypassed. If RE is not bypassed, then this RE will appear in the AC equivalent. Previously it was shorted, now it is not shorted. So if RE comes, then what will flow here is IE, and IE will be equal to IB plus IC. Now if I ask you a question here, is HIE and RE in series is HIE and RE in series. If I asked you this question, my answer is no, no, big no. Then I asked a question, why not? Because the answer to that is the current flowing through HIE is IB, the current flowing through RE is IE, and IE is not equal to IB. IE is not equal to IB. Then I ask the next question. The next question is that what should I do to RE? Please listen to this question very carefully. By how much the RE value should increase or decrease so that same current flows in HIE and the resistance connected at the emitter. So for that we know that IC is beta times of IB and IE is 1 plus beta times of IB. So now I want to change IE to IB. So IB should be IE upon 1 plus beta. So initially a higher current is flowing. Now I want to reduce the current by 1 plus beta. So if I want to reduce the current flowing through the resistance by 1 plus beta or 1 plus HFE, then I will have to increase the value of RE from RE to 1 plus HFE, RE into 1 plus HFE. Now I can see both these are having same. So I am writing here RE dash. Here it is RE. Here I am writing RE dash. So RE changed to RE dash and the value of RE dash has increased by 1 plus HFE. So now I can write here that RI is going to be simply R1 parallel to R2 parallel to series combination of HIE and RC plus HIE plus RC into 1 plus HFE. So this is the value of RI. R0 value will remain the same because you are not connecting anything on the output side. So R0 will be RC parallel to RL. Voltage gain will also be same. AV is going to be minus HFE. Voltage gain will get affected. So let's see that. So AV was V0 upon Vin. Now V0 is going to be minus HFE IB into RC parallel with RL into RC parallel with RL, and Vin is basically now IB into current flowing through HIE plus RC into 1 plus HFE. So A V is equal to minus HFE IB into RC parallel with RL upon Vin is IB into HIE plus RC into 1 plus HFE. So IB cancels out and AV is going to be minus HFE, RC parallel with RL, this entire thing upon HIE plus RE, this is RE not RC, this is RE into 1 plus HFE. So you can see that now the voltage gain was initially minus HFE, RC parallel with RL, but this term is now additional. So the denominator has increased. So because of that, the gain will fall. So with CE, we have AV is minus HFE, RC parallel with RL upon HIE, and without CE, we have this. So here the gain is going to fall. Here the gain is going to fall. So this, when you don't connect CE, we get something called as degenerative feedback. So when you don't connect CE, the phenomena that you are observing is a fall in gain, and this phenomena is called as degenerative feedback. It is called as degenerative feedback, or simply speaking, it's a negative feedback. So since we are doing our EDC2 course, so here this kind of feedback is called as a negative feedback, and the minus sign in the gain only indicates that there is a 180-degree phase shift between the input and the output. So now you will calculate the value of AI, and you will see that there is a fall in the current gain too, and that is what we want. So that's it from my side for today, and next time we will see some amplifier design. If there are any doubts, please go ahead and ask.